are the types of IP, and there are different types of IP, and each IP is different from each other. Are you aware of it? No? Have you heard these terms? You heard these terms, right? Jargons at the moment for you, right? Okay, I'll try to simplify it. Patents are granted for inventions. When I say invention, it has to include a functionality component or a science component in it. Okay? Example. The previous speaker Naveen sir, when he was giving an example of this standee, he was talking about the aesthetic parts, right? Is there any science involved in this apart from the aesthetic part? Do you find any physics component or chemistry component or a biology component in this particular standee? You find it? You can tell me what it is. Just raise one person raise a hand. Don't feel shy. Come on. Be interactive. Interact how you are going to interact with your senior. Raise your hand and tell the answer. Nobody. Yeah.
The places it has joints and the places where the plane surface of it, the pad kind of thing is mounted over those two.
Yeah. So do you think that it adds to the functionality of the standee?
Yeah, it adds to the balance because
Great.
It can't stand.
Great.
The structure is
True. So along with an industrial design, the way it looks, it can qualify for a patent as well. Right? There is a science component to it. When you are for example, when you are joining these two components, only after joining to these two components, you are getting an output called balancing it. Right? So there is some science involved. There is a physics involved in it. The same way, whenever a question comes whether this is patentable or what IP needs to be applied for this, try to think in terms of whether there is a science component to it, whether there is a functionality to it, or whether it is just the aesthetic part, that is the way it looks, the shape of it, or is it just the outer look that is different or innovative. So when you talk about functionality, it is a patent. Okay? When you talk about only aesthetics, the look and feel of it, that is a design. So for a patent to be granted, it needs to be an invention. 3 criteria are there as per Indian patent law. Okay? One is novel, that it has to be very new. It shouldn't have been done anywhere across the globe. Okay? Second is non-obvious. For example, now when I combine a process A and process B, and if the output is process C and it is very obvious, then it doesn't qualify to be it cannot be patentable. Because anybody can come and for example, I am the inventor and I say that process A plus process B is giving me process C. Okay? Now another colleague of mine or maybe someone from you would say that it is very obvious A plus B is obviously giving me C. So it means that when it is obvious to the one who has not developed it, it means that it is not fulfilling the criteria of non-obviousness, right? So you have to establish that that you have applied your mind. There is some intellectual component that you have invested in, which is making it that A plus B is not giving C, it is giving D. Okay? And next one is useful. It has to be useful. It shouldn't be frivolous. It should have some industrial applicability to it. Okay? And the patent, once it is granted, the validity of a patent is 20 years from the filing date. For example, today I have applied for a patent. I got the patent granted after 3 years. Okay? So the patent, the validity would start from the day I have filed. From then 20 years. Okay? So this is with regards to patents. This is the basic. Can anybody see what is this? Yeah, can you read this? will this qualify for a patent application? Or is this a patentable subject matter from what I've explained? You guys are able to read that or is it unclear? We can, right? So method and instrument for proposing marriage to an individual. Is this a patentable subject matter? Is there a science involved in this? No, right? So this is what is called as a frivolous patent application. Just for the sake of, applying for a patent because it's fancy, the word is fancy. Right? So such things don't qualify for a patent. Okay? So now that when you talk about patents, there is a preconceived notion that, something so complex only can be qualified for a patent. Right? Do you have that? I felt so when I was, learning about patents and all. So I was of the impression that, patents and patented technologies are something very complex and I have to break my head to understand them. So it was that, I had that opinion and that was my impression. So what do you think? Whether it needs to be complex or simple? Louder. It can be both. It can be simple, it can be complex as well. Okay? Paperclip is a patented invention. Did anybody imagine? Safety pin that you use on an everyday basis. That's a patented technology. So when concepts like a paperclip and a safety pin also can be patented, right? What I'm trying to say is it has to be innovative. You can create very simple solutions, but try to create a solution which is, which is not commonly found, around you. Try to get innovative. Try to get creative. When you try to get creative is when you find innovations, right? So that is what when people were struggling with mounting the papers together and all. I'm sure nobody would have just imagined just the folding, the way the pin is being folded in certain fashion, is able to hold certain papers. So if you just go back and think, it is so simple and yet nobody it did not strike anybody except the inventor. So always ensure that you are trying to be creative whenever you're creating some technologies. We are engineers, come on, you have to be innovative, right? That is what we are for. Another complex innovation is, do you know that there is a 6-player chess also? Right? No? Okay, good people who know it is there. So this is what, nobody would have imagined that, some 6-player chess also can be there. So that is kind of a bit of complex to our understanding, but yes, that is there. So the argument whether the invention or whether patent needs to be complex or simple is up to you. So whenever you make a simple invention or when you find a problem, when you're simplifying a solution, when you're simplifying the problem and creating a problem, when you're simplifying somebody's life, that is what gives rise to an invention, right? So think on those lines. So some more, simple examples that I wanted to highlight for a patent application is hairbrush. I'm sure, like if you just go back and see, when you observe your everyday life, every moment you will find some technology that was, that has been patented. Now that you find it in an everyday use, they were once patented technologies, right? So hairbrush, something that you use on a daily basis. You never thought that, it was a patentable subject matter, right? So hairbrush is one example. Golf ball. Egg carton. Can you imagine egg carton? The simple problem that they were solving is to ensure that, the eggs don't roll, they don't break, they're, held in an upright position, right? But still it qualified for a patent. This can be qualified for an industrial design as well. Pizza box. There are so many, patents on pizza boxes. the pizza doesn't get, crushed between the two cardboard layers. So these are the simple inventions that, people are finding out and trying to solve the problems, which, are getting qualified for a patent. So when I'm telling you guys to think something creative, try to identify the problems around you. Try to find a simplified solution for it. When you simplify, just think that your half of your job is done to get a patent, right? Try to be creative. Try to be as innovative as possible. Hair clip. Hair clip is also one example of a patent. Toilet paper roll, the handle that holds the toilet paper. Eye mask. All these are patented technologies. Some useless inventions. Fingertip toothbrush. What is the use of it? Do you see any use? No, right? Alarm fork. God knows for what reason, we need this alarm fork. Or maybe, like, I'm eating for 1 hour, so it's giving me an alarm that, hurry up. Maybe mothers would need this alarm fork, to tell their children to hurry up and eat quickly. Then this duster slippers. So there is no science involved in this, right? Some functionality. It shouldn't be stupid and shouldn't be frivolous. Dry mobile. So moving, moving hanger for drying your clothes. People are creative. Don't you think these are creative solutions? They are. If I have to support this dry mobile, I'll say when I go for a trip and I don't find some sticker or anything to dry my clothes, this will help me, right? When I'm going for a trekking and all. So it depends on how creative you can think and what problem you want to solve. Because we are engineers, what I'm asking is try to think creative, try to be innovative, try to come up with something that is useful to the mankind, right? And see, food cooler. I'm sure nobody, wanted this, or I don't know if people are there who would support this case also, right? So this is one example of a frivolous invention. Okay. So, can people tell me which logo is this? Swiggy. I think you guys order a lot, no? Swiggy and Zomato is surviving on our money, right? Our hard-earned money, our pocket money. What is this? Very intelligent, huh? This one? This one? What is this? Anywhere between the logos or beside the logo. Tata is a part of the logo. It's imbibed in that logo. Did I mention the word anywhere? Then how come you found out that it is that particular company only seeing the logo? Right. These are called trademarks. So just by seeing the logo, you are able to identify the source, right? So when a package comes with a Swiggy logo, you know that it has come from Swiggy, right? Or when you have some concert passes, which has a Book My Show logo, you know that you have booked the tickets for the concert from Book My Show, right? So you are able to identify the source of the goods just with the logo. So it is giving you a recall value, the brand recall, right? That is the job of a trademark. They help you identify the source of the good or source of the service. So, another question. When you want to go for a trademark, should it be some simple word or some simple mark or something innovative? Take for example Nike. The Nike, logo. Is there anywhere shoe symbol in it that it refers that it's a shoe brand? It's Nike, but in the logo presentation, do you find anything that is very suggestive? It has any shoe symbol in it? Or any some footwear symbol on it? No. It just has this black box in which there is a tick mark. Right? Until Nike has built that brand, I'm sure, nobody would have correlated shoes to that brand. So what Nike did, it has picked up a very abstract logo for itself, and it tried to build on it such that people, whenever they see that logo, they get reminded of the shoes. Right? It is something that they built on their logo. It is not very suggestive. The same way, this is a Dell laptop, right? Is there any meaning for this Dell word? But the Dell word has become synonymous to the laptop brand, right? So what does this say? Trademarks need to be very innovative, not generic. Why am I saying this? Is because in my years of experience, when I was interacting with inventors, the startups and all, they say, ma'am, we want to go for trademark filing, help us. I said, sure. Then I asked, give me your trademark. For example, now there is a millet food. So they say that, for example, they're making millet cake. Their brand makes millet cakes, for example. So their brand is Milletify. That's still okay. But the word millet is very generic, right? So there are chances that, there's so many brands that come up with millets. So how are you making yourself differentiated from the other brands? If you come up with a very generic name, you guys won't stand in the competition. Try to come with some abstract name. Try to build your brand value around it such that you bring meaning to that abstract word. It doesn't have to be very suggestive. It can be suggestive. I'm not saying you shouldn't do this, you should do this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you what if you adopt a different way, going from a generic way to an abstract way, a different, unique way. How will it help you to get that recognition is what I'm trying to give you. Okay? All through my presentation, I'm trying to tell you what you can do to get more success. Nothing like this is right, this is wrong. Okay? This is what I told. Trademark identifies the sources of goods and services. It gives you a brand value. It's the face of the company, right? When you see a Swiggy logo, when you think of Swiggy, it's the logo that comes in your mind. So it's become the face of the company, right? It becomes the identity. So, what can be trademarked? Did you know that now I just showed the examples of logos. But besides logo, you can also trademark your word. For example, when I said Swiggy logo, along with logo, there is a trademark for Swiggy as well. For example, take Swiggy. Can you imagine Swiggy and food? Was there a word called Swiggy before? No, right? Now they have built a brand where it has become synonymous to a food delivery company, right? That is what you guys should do. So a trademark can be granted for a logo. It can be granted for a name. It can be granted for a shape also. Do you guys know about this chocolate, Toblerone? It's very unique, right? The shape of the chocolate. So, I am not aware of any chocolate which has that unique shape, and Toblerone is known because of, you're able to recall the chocolate that it is Toblerone because of its shape, right? So that is what I am saying, its shape, color. Now, if you see the example of Paytm, it has this unique colors of dark blue and light blue. So whenever you see, like even when you see faintly, when you faintly see a logo, there is a chart. I mean, you are able to recollect that. I think this is Paytm, right? So it is giving you that recall value. That is what trademarks do. Slogan. McDonald's, I am loving it. The I am loving it tag, whatever is there, no? That is also a trademark. So even taglines, I think KFC also has this thing. It's finger licking good. That is also a trademark. So when you say just see, when I'm saying KFC and you guys are able to tell the tagline. So you guys are able to associate the trademark to the tagline, right? So this is what I was saying, that trademarks are for recalling the source of the goods. Tom and Jerry, yeah. Every day we heard that, right? It's like even when I'm hearing that music, I can see the lion yawning in that circle, right? So it is giving me recall value to Fox Entertainment. Windows. Did I show any screen of Windows? Did I flash the logo of Windows? No. Intel. So this is what I'm trying to say. If there are sound marks, which are very peculiar. Now that like they've become almost synonymous to that brand, right? Intel, matlab you will get reminded of this jingle only. The same with this one. even after the A.R. Rahman version came out, there were so many other, artists also who were replicating this version and saying Airtel jingle covers and all, right? So when you hear this jingle, what you get reminded of? The brand Airtel. So this is how, this is unconventional trademark, where, you're trying to place your product or your company, the company's identity through other form other than just visual representation. This is something that you can hear, right? This is a hearing representation. So this is how you can also be innovative, creative, and try to make a brand recall value, right? This is another, smell marks is also one type of a trademark, unconventional trademark. So these are few examples. I have not personally come across any smell mark as such, so I'm not able to give you a proper example for it. But I hope, quite soon we will have, some good examples for this as well. How do you choose a trademark? This is what I was explaining. The generic trademark, it has a very less brand recall value. So try to be fanciful, try to think out of the box, try to be, very creative. So that is why trademark is intellectual property, because it requires that innovation, right? It involves a component of innovation in it. So that is why trademark is an intellectual property, right? Trademark infringement. I just was talking about the color combinations can also be a trademark. So do you guys know that there was a trademark infringement war that was happening between Paytm and PayPal? I think 4-5 years back, if I'm not wrong. Okay, when you go back today, try to find out about this. There was a trademark war that was happening between Paytm and PayPal, and that was over the colors, the dark blue and the light blue. Okay? I think PayPal was being sued by Paytm, saying that these guys are copying us, because when a logo is being trademarked in the trademark application, you describe the color of the logo also. That my logo has these components, this color in so and so font, and any other like for example in PayPal you can see there are 2 P's. So that is also mentioned in the trademark application that this particular logo has 2 shape representations that look like 2 P's, and it has 2 words called PayPal, and in 2 different color in 2 colors, that is dark blue and light blue. So when you are applying for a trademark, just try to go and see a trademark application also, how it is drafted or how it looks like. When you go into an application, you can see how the trademark logo is described in a descriptive manner, in words form. Okay? So on that basis, this trademark infringement case has happened. So because these 2 brands are something that all of us know. I'm sure PayPal you guys know, right? Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, when I started off, even I didn't have any idea about IP and all. It was an alien concept to me. So what I tried to do that helped me was, just when I'm walking or just when I'm just sitting here, I used to observe things that could be a potential IP. Now I'm holding this mic. This is a mic technology. This is an IP. This is a patented technology, right? Now this pen drive. Pen drive is a patented technology. Light is also a patented technology. I mean the tube light. What I'm trying to say. The chair is an industrial design. So if you guys want to imbibe that concept, try to, just when you don't have to sit and dedicate a particular time to understand the concept. Now that you're able to understand the concepts, the basic ones, so whenever you are free or whenever your mind is relaxed or something, try to observe things that could be a potential IP. You can find lots of things that are IP. In fact, I would say that everything around you is, an IP. Right? So you can see on this slide, there is, I think, what is the trademark written on that? Profilio or something. ProLight. Right? ProLight is a trademark. So I've just seen at it randomly and I found a word, and that's a trademark. So that is how you observe your surroundings and learn the concepts also. You won't get all this in books. Try to learn practical stuff. You will remember it. This is how I remembered it. Otherwise, I haven't done IP graduation or any IP law and all. I am an engineer. I did my MBA in marketing, and then I've gone to this domain, and now I have learned so much on the job. Now I'm able to talk to you before you guys on the concepts, right? So try to make your basics that way. Try to see around you. Try to grasp things that are relevant to you. Okay? Now this is another example. Which one is the real? Why? What makes you think that the Castrol one is the real one? Anyone? Raise your hand, I'll give a chocolate. I don't want collective answer. I don't want chocolate, nobody eats chocolates. I wasted my money, yaar. Yeah, tell me. Design matlab? Okay. So you are saying that because this particular bottle is having the Castrol logo, so that is authentic. Right. So you can see that both the bottles are very similar. The shape is very similar, right? Those demarcations and all, the way the shape looks and all, everything is similar, right? But how could you make it out? Because there was a logo on it, and that too Castrol. Tell me this, if it was not Castrol and some other company which was not as famous as Castrol, would you guys be able to differentiate it? For example, take Shavanti Active and take this as MSME Active. How will you recognize which is logo?
In cases we can recognize now because the original has its own.
Exactly. So that means that they have built their brand and authenticity associated with that logo and the way they look, right? So because Castor, the logo and the company was so famous and they have created a niche for themselves, that is why it was able to stand out against an infringer called 40 Active, right? The way the bottle looks and all, this is trade dress also, this is called as trade dress, okay? The way it looks, the dress, right? So the trade dress is very similar, but what has made it stand out is the logo. The logo adds to the authenticity, right? So whenever, when I go to a shop, I would want to buy an authentic product. Unless I'm a pauper and I don't have penny in my pocket. But otherwise, I would want to prefer an authentic brand, right? So that is what I'm trying to say. Be very particular about trademarks. When you start off a startup, for that example, the first IP that you can consider, taking is trademark. Trademark, think of an innovative name for your startup or your technology. Try to be innovative right from that point. Right from choosing a name for your technology or for your startup. Right from that point, try to be innovative, try to be creative. Okay? I like the dedication. Hey, no sharing. If you want, you guys have to answer the questions. Sharing is no caring in the classroom. It will not help you in the future. Now, industrial designs. I was telling industrial designs, it is about the shape, the aesthetics, right? So this is what I was talking about. If you can see the chair that is there, the way the chair looks, or the way the shape of it, the aesthetic part of it, or the color combination, the cycle or the mouse, all this is adding to a unique prospect of that particular product. Okay? So this is what is industrial design. It can be applied to furnishing products, home decor, everything. Anywhere you find innovative, IKEA is something that if you go to IKEA, you will find a lot of industrial designs. Right? So whenever you go to IKEA, try to observe the products and try to observe their this thing. Actually, what I tried to, recently when I was, looking at products and all, I could see that, now they're displaying that, this particular product is protected by industrial designs. When I was just going back to my home, there is this pista house near my house. Okay? So, it's Halim season, right? We had huge hoardings of that, pista house Halim and all. So, what they came up with is, Pista House has come up with a unique packaging, design packaging. Okay? And on their hoarding, they have advertised that particular packaging, the unique packaging, and downside they've written that this is design protected. And I was like, wow, these guys are, so aware of IP now. And that is when I realized, how well people are getting aware with intellectual property. It doesn't have to be an educated person, or a person need not have a formal education now. So IP is becoming so relevant and so important in our everyday lives that, even a person who might not have a formal education or who might not be so educated is also understanding the importance of an IP. Okay? So Pista House, they have put out that poster. It was a very huge banner. So they displayed that unique packaging box and they've written design protected. Design granted also. So it was a registered design. So I was just going and I just observed the poster and I found out a component of IP. So that is one learning for me in an everyday life. So that is what you guys also should do. Try to observe your surroundings and you can find a lot of things that you can pick about IP. Okay, this is how you will remember the concepts. Otherwise, what will you get mugging up the books and all? I wouldn't remember like that. I need to have such visual recalls and examples. That is when I will be able to learn and understand. Copyrights is given for literary works, creative works. I'm sure all of you guys are very much into movies and all. Good? No, very good. Who told that? I'll give you a chocolate. Come. Any other examples of copyright? Shyam Singh Roy is it's a movie based on a copyright. You guys have watched the movie? So the premise of the movie was on copyright, right? They were fighting that, this has been written by Shyam Singh Roy. So they had the plot was to establish that both the persons are same, the author is the same, right? And there is also another example of famous copyright fiasco that happened recently, very recently. Who is that? Good. What happened with Kantara? I'll give a chocolate, don't worry. So what happened with Kantara? So there was a song, that was the original writer was, the original composer was saying that, Kantara people have stolen from him and, they've made it. So that was also a long pending and it was Taikudum Bridge, right? But what happened to Balgam? I don't know, I'm not so updated. From? Seriously? Okay, I'm not aware of this. Already people who have answered won't get a chocolate again. So yeah, Kantara, you are aware of it, right? So that is one example. And any more examples? What is with Avatar? I am not aware. It's okay, tell. What happened with Padmavati? What Deepika Padukone? The story. That is not a, I mean, as far as I am aware, Padmavat controversy was not regarding the story, if I am not wrong. Or if there is some controversy regarding distortion of the actual facts, but not that, it has been copied or something like that. So it's not a basis for a copyright. Okay, you guys can fill the feedback forms, it's okay. Meanwhile, try to be, you're having a fun session and you want to concentrate on the paper. Which song? Huh? Which one? In this sense, Taman should be given all copyrighted this thing, no? Right? Every work, you can have a benefit of doubt that, this might be a copyrighted material. So that is what is the concept of copyright. Even these days that you post anything on Twitter, when you go and see a movie, the first day shows, the videos that you post online, Twitter mein you post and they get deleted saying that, it is copyrighted material. Right? So that is what, copyright is also coming into a lot of limelight. So copyright is given for books, music, paintings which has some artistic value to it. Okay? So literary works, artistic works, software program is a copyright. So one thing that I wanted to clarify is, in India, software is not a patentable subject matter as per Indian patent law. If you go out of India, software can be patented. But in India, softwares can only be copyrighted. Okay? All the algorithms that you write, the softwares that you build, until and unless the software is combined with the hardware component. For example, you have built some app and you have also developed some hardware component. Okay? For example, you have built a device. Okay? It's a physical device. And there is an algorithm or a computer program in it. And that computer program will not function without that particular device. That is when it can be qualified for a patent. Okay? Standalone software cannot be patented. It can only be copyrighted. Software with a hardware component, where you establish that software cannot function without this hardware component, only then it can go for a patent protection. Okay? So these are some examples of copyrights. And next is geographical indications. Geographical indication, just like how trademark is applied for a goods or service. Okay? GI, what it does is, it reminds you of that place, a geographic location. Okay. Apart from these that you see, Hyderabad Hali, the food product, it has the word Hyderabad, which is redirecting to a geographic location. Right? Darjeeling tea, Madhubani paintings, Rajasthani Katputlis. So any other GIs that you can think of? Very famous. Which one? Yes, that's a registered GI. Or? Somebody told us. Kondapalli Bomma. Who was it? Kondapalli Bomma. Good. You also. So any other GIs? Kondapalli Bomma. KFC, where is it getting you? Which one? I can't understand. Kerala banana chips. I agree that it is quite famous from the area. When you talk about banana chips, it gets to Kerala. But I'm not sure it has any GI yet. But you have got the concept right. Banana chips are very famous for... Malla Reddy is not a location. It's an individual. So it cannot be a GI. True. Kakinada Kaja. It has a location. Raise your hand. Which laddu? Yes, Tirupati laddu is a GI. Raise your hand. Yes, Kanchipuram silk. Mysore, yeah. Mysore pak. I'm not asking for location names. Mental what? Good brand building of your college. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody in my vicinity who can join engineering college. Otherwise, I would have told them, please go and join Malla Reddy for the brand building that you guys did today. So, yeah, Pochampalli Ikat is also a registered GI.
Even the Padaknath Durga from MP, the Brahman talk, it's a famous Padaknath Murga, it's a live animal. That is also a GI.
Yeah. So even certain animals, any food product that has its origin to a geographic location. So I'll tell you what is the concept behind this. So, you just mentioned about Kerala banana chips, no? So for a product to be granted the GI tag, there are certain parameters. You have to establish the fact that if you make that product in that location only, it will give you the taste and quality. Until and unless you don't, prove that, they will not grant you a GI. I worked with a GI application called Gulbarga Tur Dal. You know Tur Dal, right? Kandipappu. Okay? Gulbarga anadi Karnataka region. So Gulbarga Tur Dal is a granted GI. So when we were processing that application, what we had to prove to the bench that was sitting before us was that this particular tur dal that is there, the taste, the aroma, the nutrient value, we had to prove that if we grow in that Gulbarga region only, it will give that amount of the ones that we were projecting that Gulbarga tur dal is this nutritious, it is rich in so and so, it has this unique aroma, it has this, once it is cooked, it has this shelf life. All this that we are claiming, we had to prove to the bench that that because it was growing in that Gulbarga region, that is why it is contributing to those unique features. Okay? So we had to tell that because of the soil composition, the weather conditions of that location, which is contributing to the unique features of that particular tur dal. The same way Tirupati Laddu also. Tirupati Laddu, it is the SOPs that you follow while making that particular laddu. Okay? The ingredients or the ingredients that you source from that location. So all this adds to the authenticity, and that is when they proved that the laddu that you make at Tirupati, the taste you don't get it anywhere else. You also agree? Tirupati laddu taste is very Tirupati laddu. You can't get it anywhere else, right? So these guys were able to prove that, and that is the reason they got the grant. Okay? Hyderabad biryani, yeah.
Rajasthan thali.
Huh?
Rajasthan thali.
Yes. Thali kaadu. Thali is like a combination of so many food items. One food item which is, giving you a link to one geographic location. So this is the summary of various types of IP. Okay? Okay, the advantages of IP and all, I was able to cover it throughout the presentation. So, I'm almost at the close of my whatever I wanted to talk. So, because today, we are celebrating women in IP, I want to say that I want to talk about myself, okay? How, when I go to meetings or when I go and be a part of stakeholder meetings, the ratios always tends to 1. I am the only woman in the groups. Always. I have observed this. Even when I have project meetings happening, I am the only woman in the group. I want you guys to change that. Both men and women, men, please push, the women around you to get into this domain. Women in science science is a budding career option. We know how difficult it is to survive in a science field, but still you guys have to make it. Okay, you guys have to celebrate yourself and be a part of this ecosystem. It would be tough, but you have to do it, right? Another thing. So I came across this one program for women who have career breaks. Now you would have sisters or cousins who might have gone for a family breaks and they want to get back to their careers, right? So Department of Science and Technology has identified these women who have had breaks in their career, and they have been giving IPR training for these women, such that once they're done with their training, they can go and apply for jobs in the IP domain. And I have known few attorneys and patent agents who have had career breaks because of whatever reasons. They've come back, they've gone through such trainings, and they got into this IP domain. When I was an engineer, I was very confused of what I want to do. Whether I wanted to go in, I'm a computer science engineer, okay? I'm a computer science engineer working in IP domain in an agricultural research organization. Very interesting, right? I'm sure nobody would have imagined. I myself haven't imagined that. So what I'm trying to say is, IP is for people, for technology people, technocrats, okay? It's a combination of technology and legal. So legal is, now what I was able to explain you guys, it is something that I learned over the job. You would have a additional IP law degree, and it is more helpful to you. But as engineers, I feel that you guys should also consider option of making your careers in the IP domain. Okay? Software, all of this, it's there. But I'm trying to give you a new career option. When I was in my engineering, I wish somebody told me that this domain is there and you would shine in this domain. I didn't know that. When all my other contemporaries, when they were even I also got placed in campus placement. That's a different story. What I'm trying to say is, but still, when I was doing my CSE, I felt so out of place. I felt this didn't belong to me. Indian story tells కదా, ఫస్ట్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ చేస్తాం, దాని తర్వాత ఏం చేయాలో ఆలోచిస్తాం. ఇక్కడ ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు అలాంటి కేటగిరీ? అందరం ఒకటే కేటగిరీ, రైట్? సో వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సే ఇస్, try to identify other opportunities. Same with your background, CSE background only. You don't have to be completely software engineers, or you don't have to go into those what you call corporate life వద్దు అని అనుకునే వాళ్ళు ఇలాంటి ఆప్షన్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి. ఇంక్యుబేటర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి, యాక్సిలరేటర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి. ఓకే, రీసెర్చ్ ఇప్పుడు మీ కాలేజే తీసుకోండి. మీ కాలేజ్లోనే ఒక ఐపీ సెల్ ఉంది. 10 years బ్యాక్ ఐపీ సెల్ లాంటివి ఏం లేవాలండి. కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అంతా ఏలియన్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఇప్పుడు వస్తున్నాయి ఇవి, జస్ట్ 3-4 years బ్యాక్ నుంచి. సో మీరు గ్రాడ్యుయేట్ అయ్యే టైంకి this IP domain inka flourish avutundi. So many colleges are establishing their IP cells. So many incubators are having IPFCs and all, IP cells, IP units, tech transfer offices, where they're looking forward to engineers like you, where they're looking forward to technical people like you, who would help them to understand the technologies and help in filing these patents and all. ఇప్పుడు పేటెంట్ ఫైల్ చేసే వాళ్ళు ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో, పేటెంట్ అటార్నీ, I will tell you what I do on a everyday basis, okay? Now an innovator comes up to me saying, "Madam, I want to get a patent filing done." I said, "Great, cool." I go to my attorney team and I say that they want to file a patent. What I do, I set up a call with them. The inventor, he explains all the details of the technology. What I have to do is I have to understand the technology. Because I am an engineer, మినిమం కొంత బేసిక్స్ అని అర్థం అవుతుంది కదా. వాడు ఏదో చెప్తూ ఉంటే మన డొమైన్ కాకపోయినప్పుడు సైన్స్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉంది, కొంచెం అర్థం అవుతుంది కాబట్టి వీఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు గ్రాస్ వాట్ ఈజ్ ఈ టెల్లింగ్. మరి గ్రీక్ అండ్ లాటిన్ అయితే మనకు ఉండదు. సో దే కీప్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయినింగ్ ది అటార్నీ. సో ఐ ఆల్వేస్ లిసన్ టు ద టెక్నాలజీ. ఐ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ద టెక్నాలజీ టు ద పాయింట్ వేర్ అట్లీస్ట్ ఐఎమ్ ఏబుల్ టు ఫిగర్ అవుట్ వెదర్ దిస్ క్యాన్ బి పేటెంటెడ్ ఆర్ నాట్ విత్ వాట్ ఎవర్ రిసోర్సెస్ దట్ ఐ హ్యావ్. సో ఇంకోటి ఏం చెప్పాలనుకున్నానంటే, విచ్ ఇయర్ యూ గైజ్ ఆర్ ఇన్? ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్, సెకండ్ ఇయర్? ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ అండ్ సెకండ్ ఇయర్స్ అనుకుంటా. గుడ్. ఇప్పుడు మీరు 4th year లో ఒక ఫైనల్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ సబ్మిట్ చేయాలి కదా, దాని గురించి ఏమైనా ఆలోచించారా? ఫైనల్ ఇయర్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఎలా చేయాలి, అప్పుడు ఆలోచిద్దాం ఇప్పటి నుంచి ఎందుకు అనుకున్నాను కదా. When I was there, when I was figuring out what I should do my final year project, I was scouting for what technologies that I can work on, or what I need to work on. Same thing, creative undali, innovative undali అని అప్పుడు ఇలాగే తిన్నారు బ్రెయిన్. ఏం చేయాలో అర్థం కాదు. ఇక్కడ ఈ డొమైన్ లోకి వచ్చినది వాట్ ఐవ్ అబ్జర్వ్డ్ ఇస్ దేర్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ పేటెంటబిలిటీ సర్చ్. పేటెంట్ సర్చ్ అని ఒకటి ఉంది. పేటెంట్ డేటాబేస్ లో ఉండే టెక్నాలజీస్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ 5 years ahead of what you see now. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఈ మైక్ కాదు కానీ ఒక ఫోన్ తీసుకోండి, ఫోన్ లో ఉండే టెక్నాలజీ, ఓకే, ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ అనుకోండి, ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు ఫేమస్ అవుతున్న ఆర్ ఇప్పుడు ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ లోకి వచ్చిన ఈ ఓఎస్ టెక్నాలజీ would have already been gone into patent filing 5 years back, okay, because patent file చేసిన తర్వాత 2-3 years తర్వాత గ్రాంట్ అవుతుంది. 2-3 years గ్రాంట్ అయిన తర్వాత that is when people start marketing about their technology and that is when they do market penetration. మార్కెట్ లోకి వచ్చాక మీకు తెలుస్తుంది. మీరు ఇప్పుడు మార్కెట్ లో చూసేవని మీరేమనుకుంటున్నారు, కొత్త టెక్నాలజీ, ఇన్నోవేటివ్ టెక్నాలజీ అని. మీరు చూసేవని 3 years బ్యాక్ ఆల్రెడీ వాళ్ళ R&D సెంటర్స్ లో అన్ని చేసుకొని ఉన్నారు. సో మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా కూడా మీరు ఒక టెక్నాలజీ డెవలప్ చేసిన మీ కళ్ళ ముందు కనిపించట్లేదు కాబట్టి ఇది ఇన్నోవేటివ్ టెక్నాలజీ, ఇది ఎవ్వరు చేయలేదు అని అనుకోకండి. గో టు పేటెంట్ డేటాబేసెస్, ఓకే, దెర్ ఆర్ ఫ్రీ డేటాబేసెస్. గో హోమ్, సర్చ్ ఫర్ పేటెంట్ డేటాబేసెస్. కీవర్డ్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఇప్పుడు మీరు టెల్ మీ వన్ టెక్నాలజీ కొన్ని కీవర్డ్స్ చెప్పండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్
A14 bionic chip, Apple's A14 bionic chip.
బయోనిక్ చిప్ అని అన్నారు కదా, జస్ట్ బయోనిక్ చిప్ ఆ వర్డ్స్ తో గో టు అ పేటెంట్ సర్చ్ డేటాబేస్ అండ్ ఎంటర్ దోస్ 2 keywords. You will get lot of patents with that word bionic chip. అంటే either the patent application had that words called bionic chip or the patents are related to that technology. It will give you an overview of what is already being researched. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ప్రతి రీసెర్చ్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ కి వెళ్ళి మాట్లాడలేదు, మీరు ఏం టెక్నాలజీ ఇస్తారు నాకు చెప్పండి అంటే ఎవరు చెప్తాడు, ఎందుకు చెప్తాడు? They don't want to do it, right? So one way for you guys to figure out what are the technologies that are being developed and is hidden from your naked eye is you go to a patent database and search for it. దానివల్ల ఏంటంటే you will get to know ఏమేమి అవుతున్నాయి ఏంటి అని. మీరు ప్రాజెక్ట్ ప్రపోజల్స్ ఏవైతే డెవలప్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారో it will help you in finding out a new innovative this thing also. అంటే okay, already technologies I have to work on something else than what is exactly there. So ఈ పేటెంట్ డేటాబేసెస్, ఈ పేటెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో try to utilize it for your project works, research works, okay. ఈ robotics competitions అవుతూ ఉంటాయి కదా, right? You build those robotics and all. So okay, whoever is there into that particular domain, that particular branch, you guys are involved in that, right? So you want to do something new. When you go to competitions in IIT Kanpur and IIT this thing, ఇలాంటి దీనికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు వాళ్ళకి మీకు అడ్జెంట్ ఏంటంటే వాళ్ళు అలాంటి సోర్సెస్ యూస్ చేస్తారు. ఈ సోర్సెస్ ఫ్రీగా అవైలబుల్ ఉన్నాయి. ఈ గూగుల్ పేటెంట్స్ ఉంది, జస్ట్ గో అండ్ సీ ఫర్ గూగుల్ పేటెంట్స్. lens.org అని ఉంది. If you go to that website, that is also a free patent database. So these are all free sources that you can utilize and to refine the technical knowledge that you have and apply it. So try to find out resources where you can apply it and not just ఏదో ఉంది కదా చదువుతున్నాం వెళ్తున్నాం. Don't try to get into that zone. Try to make it more fun and whatever you want to do, ఏది చేసినా కూడా కొంచెం క్రియేటివ్ గా, ఇన్నోవేటివ్ గా, ఇంట్రెస్ట్ తో పెట్టి చేయండి. When you try to get into this ఇంకా లోపలికి వెళ్తుంటే you will find interest in it. That is how I found it interesting. Okay, so today because we are talking about women and intellectual property, so I explained my example that how this particular domain is very underrepresented in terms of women. So we need more women in this domain, in science, in intellectual property, and I can proudly say that నాకు తెలిసిన నాకు ఇప్పుడు 28 years లో whoever friends I made, okay, nobody is in this domain. 28 years లో ఎంతమందిని కలుస్తాం మనం, ఎంతమందిని ఫ్రెండ్స్ చేసుకుంటాము? Nobody is in the IP domain. Everybody is into corporate, everybody is into lot many other things and all, but nobody is in IP domain. ఇది ఒక నీష్ ఫీల్డ్. మీరు ఇలాంటి ఫీల్డ్స్లోకి వెళ్తే మీరు ఇందులో డెవలప్ చేసుకుంటే దర్ ఇస్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ డిమాండ్ ఫర్ యూ. The way I grew in this field, when I started off as a business consultant. Then I started off as then tarvata 1.5 year ke I joined as another officer. Now for an IPFC operations handle cheyadaniki. Now on the job learning and dini valla now I'm able to handle my entire institute's IP also. I interact with scientists in India and Africa also. I try to understand, I'm able to understand their requirements, and I'm able to facilitate IP management for them. So it is not something that is not doable. It's not a cheyalenu ani em ledu. It's a very good career option for you guys to, consider. I would highly recommend you guys to think out of the box, go for professions that are niche and that are still not. Idi ostundi demand loki ostundi next 3-4 years this dominate a lot of demand. So much demand because the government itself is pushing IP like anything. ఎందుకు వాళ్ళకి 2 days ముందు ఐపీ డే ఉంది చేయండి అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళని ప్రెషర్ పెట్టారు. అర్థమవుతుంది కదా సెంటర్ నుంచి ఎంత ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఉందో. సో అండ్ ఇట్ ఇస్ ట్రాన్స్లేటింగ్ ఇన్ టు కాలేజ్ కోర్సెస్. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు జస్ట్ సెమినార్స్ లా పెడుతున్నారు, దాని తర్వాత ఒక కంపల్సరీ సబ్జెక్ట్ గా పెడతారు. సో దిస్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ దట్ విల్ కమ్ ఇన్ టు లాట్ ఆఫ్ బూమ్. So try to identify those career opportunities. IP domain is one because it's World IP Day. You guys are sitting here. It is my responsibility as a IP professional to tell you guys about this career option. You can be a patent agent, you can be a patent attorney. Okay, ఇవే కాదు ఇంకా ల్యాండ్స్కేప్ టెక్నాలజీ ల్యాండ్స్కేప్ అనాలిసిస్ అని ఉంటుంది. ఏం చేస్తారు తెలుసా, ఇప్పుడు ఒక కంపెనీ వస్తుంది, దే టెల్ దట్ ఐఎమ్ డెవలపింగ్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ టెక్నాలజీ. నా టెక్నాలజీకి క్లోజ్గా ఎవరైనా వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాడేమో గ్లోబ్లో చూడండి అని ఒక కన్సల్టెంట్ దగ్గరికి వెళ్తారు. వాడేం చేస్తాడు, పేటెంట్ సర్చ్ డేటాబేస్ ఓపెన్ చేసి ఈయన టెక్నాలజీకి తగ్గట్టు కీవర్డ్స్ అవి సర్చ్ చేసి హీ విల్ రిట్రీవ్ టెక్నాలజీస్ దట్ ఆర్ క్లోజ్ టు హిస్ టెక్నాలజీ. ఆ రిట్రీవ్ చేసిన టెక్నాలజీస్ ఆ టెక్నాలజీ ఏంటి ఈ టెక్నాలజీ ఏంటి అన్ని అనాలిసిస్ చేసి వాడు ఒక రిపోర్ట్ ఇచ్చి, సార్ మీ టెక్నాలజీ ఇది వాళ్ళ టెక్నాలజీ ఇది ఇలా డిఫరెంట్ ఉంది, వాళ్ళ అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఏంటి మీ అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఏంటి అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళు చెప్తారు. ఇది ఒక అంటే ఇలాంటి ఒక ఇది కూడా ఉంది. ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ నాట్ ఇన్ టు కోడింగ్, ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ నాట్ ఇన్ టు డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ టెక్నాలజీస్ అండ్ ఆల్, యూ కెన్ డూ టెక్నాలజీ అనాలిసిస్. దర్ ఆర్ రోల్స్ ఫర్ దట్ as well. Okay, so if you're not able to perform in one particular role, it is not, don't feel that there are no other career options. Try to think about something like this. Okay, I hope this is useful and I made some sense. Package at least, see, when I started off I was around 3.54. Now I'm able to get until 10. అది ఎందుకు అని అంటే నేనేమి డిగ్రీ అంటే ఐపీలో ఏం డిగ్రీ అది చేయలేదు కాబట్టి. బట్ అలాంగ్ విత్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ ఒక 1 year కోర్స్ అలా మీరు చేసి యూ విల్ హ్యావ్ వెరీ గుడ్ ఆప్షన్స్, తొందరగా గ్రో అవుతారు. ఎలిజిబిలిటీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు బీ అన్ ఇంజనీర్, సైన్స్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉండాలి. అందుకే చెప్తున్నాను, మీకే చెప్తున్నాను, కామర్స్ కాలేజ్కి వెళ్ళి చెప్పండి, సైన్స్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ కాబట్టి చెప్తున్నాను. ఓకే, ఎనీ అదర్ క్వశ్చన్స్? ఓకే, this is my contact. So in case you have some technology ideas, you want to understand more on IP or anything, you can drop an email. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, any other queries లేవంటే అన్ని అర్థమయ్యాయి అనుకో, లేదంటే ఏం అర్థం కాలేదని అనుకోవాలి.
Am I eligible to ask a question?
I hope I'll be able to answer.
No, definitely you will, because based on your profile this question is, so it brings out more light, as your experience as an IP manager,
Yeah.
Even this I have experienced, when I was working in my office, a lot of students, young startups come, and they mostly develop apps, into agriculture sector as well, So how do, using IP rights, what IP rights they can register to protect if they develop an innovative concept. We don't have utility patents over here. We cannot protect software.
Software only in copyright.
Yes, so how do we protect
Trade
the
secret.
app idea? Trade secret is one thing, that is fine, but it is very difficult, for a startup to keep the trade secrecy. So besides that, what are the tools, how they can protect it? App,
Legal documentation. You have to be very firm on your documentation. When you are going and collaborating with a partner, you should be able to clearly define till what extent that party can disclose about your technology to other parties. Now, I am a party, I am licensing it to you. So when I am dealing it with you, I will tell you when you go to other partners, till what extent you can disclose about my technology. I have to make it clear through a
That is
contract.
one aspect, that is, using trade secret legal documentation under contract law, you can protect it. But, once your app is live online, people come to know about the concept, so they can make a similar app. So what aspects, how you can be different, because big companies are doing it, so how startups can do it.
At the moment for softwares and all, in India only we can copyright it. The Indian IP law is only like that. When you go out of India, for softwares and all you can go for patenting. But in India there's no provision like that. For unfortunately it is that way. I hope there would be some more changes in the law in coming years to come. Okay? Thank you so much. Okay, there is ఒకటి మిగిలిపోయింది ఒక చాక్లెట్ అందరికీ కావాలి ఒకళ్ళు లేచి లేదు ఇప్పుడు ఒక క్వశ్చన్ అంటున్నా చెప్పండి ఈ రూమ్ లో నాకు 3 IP చెప్పండి ఎవరు చెప్తే నేను వాళ్ళకి చాక్లెట్ ఇస్తాను 3 IP the 3 IP that you identified in this room
JBL, ProLite, so Panasonic.
Good. He got it. 3 brand names చెప్పేశారు నేను క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతూ ఉంటే 3 బ్రాండ్స్ చెప్పేశారు బ్రాండ్ నేమ్స్
JBL, Panasonic, ProLite.
He's been working with his devices so he's able to identify those. I think it's helpful.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your interactive session. And last but the least, we have the main person behind this event of World IPR Day, which has not been done without his association. He is Mr. G.S. Bist, currently working as an assistant director since 2016 under IEDS, that is Indian Enterprise Development Services, a development commissioner for MSME, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. He is the in charge of electronic section and IP cell at MSME, DI Hyderabad, IP nodal officer for MSME Telangana, and MSME nodal officer for Sangareddy, Siddipet and Medak district. And he is a nodal officer for procurement through government e-market GEM, business consultant, EDC cell officer in the National Task Force, electronics constituted by DC MSME on 15 July 2021. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much for all this thing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the sweet introduction. So, good evening. So I think you guys must be exhausted, because there has been a lot of information being dumped on you. But I think Madam's session was very interactive, So, yeah. So I have a lot of things, which I can tell, especially about MSME schemes. And if you want to do a startup, what are the avenues of funding you can get? Not only by our Ministry of MSME, but there are other departments. They are offering schemes, especially, there is a Startup India scheme, which is doing well. And so I've got the presentation, so I can go through I can go through the presentation. So just, I wanted to know, because now 2 sessions on IP and innovation. Even Jyotsna madam, she talked about innovation, So can anybody tell me, what is now the idea you have formed with the word innovation? What is your idea of innovation? Yes, think. I'll give you 2 minutes, think about it, innovation. Also, while framing that, keep a distinction between innovation and invention. Are they different, how they are different? So that would be the definition of innovation. So if anybody, can be short also, you can be, yes, anything. You want mic or you can just sit down and you can, yes.
the problems it already has in solving them?
Yes, it is. You can describe it. It is not the complete. But yes, it's a perspective. Yes, it is fine. Accepted by a lot of people. Thank you very much. What's your name, ma'am? Ashmita. Good, ma'am. Nice. Anybody else? Yes. Besides from what she has said, you want to add something to it? Innovation and invention. Traditionally, engineers, we have been doing engineering, and we mostly associate invention with scientists. Scientists, they do invention. And innovation with businesses. So, yes, qualify innovation here more for me. So, any words? Practical.
Implementation of ideas.
Yes, that is good point. Yes. Idea actually is very raw, in a day, you yourself must be getting a lot of ideas, while dealing with situations, life situations, a lot of problems are there. For example, while commuting over here, traffic issues, other things, so you will get ideas, why this can't be this way. You get ideas. But that is the first stage, and then comes invention, yes.
Converting an idea into product.
Converting an idea into a product. Okay, accepted, yes. So, okay, I'll tell you what is innovation. That is my view, but and it could be a general view also. See, invention is, when it is done, it is done theoretical manner, most of the times. It is done in labs, and it may not be directly related to the market to derive the commercial value out of it. It may be the social requirement of that time, so that could be an invention. And normally there is a new science, new knowledge comes out of it. But invention is not necessarily, innovation is not necessarily you have some invention in that. It could be an existing mixture of existing technology you apply in a new way to derive a commercial benefit out of it, so that it can create an impact. You can have commercial benefit out of it. So that is where, the thing, whether you should go for patent or not comes into picture. If you are doing an innovation, mostly it is associated with entrepreneurship, especially startups, they are coming with innovative solutions. So that is where, you should go for patents. If you have inventions, you can publish paper, because patent costs a lot of money and other things. So that is one thing about innovation, but this is not the topic which I will be taking because I represent MSME department, so I take that topic. So what is MSME? What is your understanding of MSME? At least the full form of MSME. Medium? What? Enterprises. Are you sure it is enterprises? No, it's not enterprises. Entrepreneurship. Okay, it is micro, small, medium enterprises only. But it is much better, when I came over here in 2016, long back, when I joined this department. So people didn't know MSME, what is MSME, but you guys know MSME. So the awareness is there, micro, small, medium. But now, what is micro, what is small, and what is medium? Yes. What is the basis of classification of that? Micro is what? Small. Then what is small?
Only up to the domestic level is something like.
Only up to the domestic level. Okay, you are doing. So it's enterprises means businesses. That is understood, right? Agreed. So micro, small, medium, the basis, there is a gadget notification for it by Ministry of MSME in 2020. So it defines the basis for the classification of micro, small, medium businesses. Above medium, there will be large businesses and then mega businesses, which is out of our department. There is a Ministry of Heavy Industries, for that. We are from Ministry of Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises. So the basis of classification in India, elsewhere in the world it would be different, but in India it is based on the investment in the plant and machinery of that business, only in the plant and machinery of the business, and the turnover. That is only domestic turnover in India of that business. Based on these two, the classification is there. So I will tell you in this this slide, you will be able to understand clearly. Micro, small, medium, inside the gears. You can see over here. So your investment in plant and machinery is up to 1 crore and your turnover is up to 5 crore. You fall into the micro category. And your investment from 1 crore to 10 crore, between that. And your turnover from 5 crore to 50 crore, between that. You fall into the small enterprises category. And if your investment is from 10 crore to 50 crore, and from 50 crore to turnover is 50 crore to 250 crore, you fall into the medium category. So if you are preparing for government examination and this question comes, you will be able to answer it. Please. This may change, because it was revised on June 2020. Before that, it was only based on investment in plant and machinery. Turnover was not there. So this may probably change in the future, but at present, this is the. Now, okay, this is the definition, but you are a business. How do you certify yourself as an MSME? So this is the certification. The simplest certification I have come across. Anybody can do it. Right now in the classroom itself you can do it. If you have an Aadhaar card, you can do it. So you have to go to this website, udyamregistration.gov.in. Mostly, when you start a business, 90% chances are there you will fall into this because your investment will be well within 50 crore and your turnover, obviously you are starting zero turnover, well below 250 crore. So you will fall into MSME naturally. Earlier, if you are doing trading, retail, wholesale, sale, you are only just buying without value adding, you are selling it, buying and selling it without any value addition, just purely trading, you wouldn't fall into MSME, but now even traders are included into MSME. When you fill this form, there is an option for trading activity also. So when you are starting any business, you can simply go to this udyamregistration.gov.in website. This is by Ministry of MSME. And you can verify your, first validate your Aadhaar card by providing the Aadhaar card number and name. And through the OTP, which is in your Aadhaar link mobile number, you can validate an online form will come up. Online form will be mostly self-declaration. Whatever you declare will be accepted and immediately you will be assigned an Udyam number. Using that number from the same website, you can print the certificate. So you get it in 10-15 minutes, based on your speed. So it is completely self-declaration basis and no money is charged for this. Free of cost. So there are various benefits of Udyam registration, so that I will not go into because I don't think anybody has a startup over here now. I don't think so, right? And you have a startup? You are doing a business, right? This. Yes, you can tell me what's your startup? Yes, yes. Oh, sure. I may not understand, but yes.
Nowadays, food industry is growing more. I have a unique plan that
Yes, comfortable.
ఈ మధ్య ఎక్కడ చూసినా ఫుడ్ బిజినెస్ అనేది బాగా ఉంది. ఎక్కడైనా యూనిక్గా కోరుకుంటారు. ఇప్పుడు ఈ కాలేజీలో ఉన్న స్టూడెంట్సే ఇప్పుడు ఎక్కడికైనా వెళ్తే యూనిక్నెస్ కావాలి, కొత్త కొత్త యాంబియన్స్ కావాలి. వాళ్ళ కోసం నా దగ్గర ఒక యూనిక్ ఐడియా ఉంది. అదేంటంటే ఫుడ్ ట్రక్ బిజినెస్. ఫుడ్ ట్రక్ బిజినెస్ ఏంటంటే మన డైనింగ్ అండ్ అక్కడనే తినుకుంటూ తిరగడం. ఒక సర్టెన్ రేడియస్లో మీరు ఫుడ్ ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తూ మీరు రైడ్ కూడా ఎంజాయ్ చేయవచ్చు. దీనికి ఎలా అంటే ఒక ఫుడ్ ట్రక్ని మనం ఓన్ చేసుకొని ఆ ఫుడ్ ట్రక్లో విత్ ప్లైవుడ్ తోటి డిజైన్ చేసి దాంట్లోనే తినడం అంటే ఇట్లాంటి కొత్త కొత్త ఇన్నోవేటివ్ వల్ల చాలా మంది కొత్త కొత్త అంబియన్స్ కోరుకుంటారు. ఇది ఒక కొత్త అంబియన్స్ని రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి ఇది సక్సెస్ అవుతుందని నా ఫీల్.
Okay. Good, very good. What's your name, sir? Sambit Reddy. Okay, great. So what I understood, it's a food truck business, right? Where people can come and dine in also.
Yeah.
But you were offering something new, innovative in that.
They can ride in the truck and they can eat in the truck.
People can ride in the truck with their vehicle.
Yeah.
So it has to be a very big truck.
Yeah. With a platform.
Okay.
With using plywood.
Okay.
We design plywood in the platform. And with the...
Understood. Okay, there is a concept in Bangalore, also similar concept. So where people, they can ride in and they can, the tray, everything will be, can be attached to their windows. They need not come out of their vehicle and they can be served food over there. So there's already a startup doing that, So it's a good idea, it can work, And now, one important thing, because we are celebrating World IPR Day, how do you protect that innovation? You come up with an innovative idea and it is liked by the market. And you will be successful. Now, you have put efforts, you have taken that risk, whether it will be accepted by market or not with that innovative product. You have made investment, everything. Now other people will simply see a lot of people are gathering over there. I can also do similar thing. They'll also plan similar shop, So how do you protect? It's your innovative idea, and intellectual property right is protecting about your innovative idea. How do you protect that? So because you have the first mover advantage, but after a while, you lose that. So you have to design patent, you can do, right? The design, which you are offering, if it is optimum, most efficient, you do a design aesthetic, design patent is for aesthetic, you can do that. If a functionality of that, you can file under patent, and if it is the most efficient design, other people cannot copy it, then they have to design a slightly less efficient design. Yeah, and so that they don't infringe your patent. So one is that you can file a patent of that tray. You can the aesthetic appearance of that tray. You can file a design patent, design on that, and also brand. The other thing, most important thing, patent, everything, all this thing, they have a limitation. Like patent is for 20 years. Design is for 10 plus 5 years. But trademark, brand is infinite. You see this old brands are there, Samsung, all these are old brands. Now they still hold the rights over it. So every 10 years you can renew it. So what you have to do, when you come up with an innovative offering, you brand yourself, put a logo, everything which is unique to your offering. So what happens, people will associate that brand with your company only, with that logo, everything. Now Coke is there, Thumbs Up is there, Pepsi is there, you go and you ask for Thumbs Up only. But similar products being offered by other people also, but you go for that brand, because that has been imprinted on your mind. You will go for Nike, Adidas only. So the quality of that shoes, that they have associated with the product. So that is how you last long in the market. So now, once he wants to start that, so how he will start it? This I understand, is in an ideation phase. Now he wants to start it. So how will he start it? You be in his shoes, and you want to start any business, like that. What are the different things? What you require? Funding. Main thing is funding. You require funding. But more important than funding, there is one more thing. What is that? In any business. Yes. What?
Risk-taking capability.
Risk-taking, obviously that is there, Without that you will not move. There is risk with every decision you are making, there is a risk, It may not turn out how you imagine. So that is why you have to analyze that. But what is more, any business, what is the most important thing in a business besides providing the solution? Business valuation, the value of the business. Market valuation. You see what is the market. That is good. That is okay. Those things are, how far your business goes, those things are there. But when you start the business, form an organization. So what is the most important thing on which your business depends? That is the market analysis is obviously, but you can also create a market. So many products have come in the market for which, there was no market before that product, but now it has created the market. So what is the most important thing? Uniqueness is fine, but it's not the most trend. The trend. What is the fashion trend? Okay. Yeah, maybe in fashion industry, but not all businesses. That is again market related. Most important thing at the back benches, they will be knowing, I think, on which the business pivot, on which innovation, IPR, everything pivot on that. It is your brain, right? Intellect. That is the most important thing, right? The most important thing in your business is the human capital. The team, core team. You see Shark Tank? Shark Tank you see, right? Yes. Yes, so you see this all, this startup pitch to investors, everything, what do they invest in finally? They invest in the team, the people, the entrepreneur, So the most important thing is the team which you are selecting, the core team of the business. That is most important, in any startup. Even if you start with a conventional product, that is most important. The next thing is finance. The core team you have to select, based on the functional requirement of the business. But the finance, yes, we have banks which can provide you finance. We have schemes which can finance you. So one simple scheme is, 10 more. Okay, so there are two schemes I'll tell you for financing your business. One is Mudra loan. The advantage of Mudra loan, especially if you want loan below 50,000, you don't require documentation. You go to any bank, you fill simple KYC form, apply for the loan, and the turnaround time is very fast. Within a week you will get the Mudra loan. So 50,000 immediately for starting a business. You can go to any bank and you can get that. Mudra loan is up to 10 lakh. So if it crosses 2 lakh, then you have to submit projections, profit and loss statement that you have to add to it. And then if crosses 5 lakh, then you have to submit other documentations, mentioned in the Mudra application. So that is there. Then there is other scheme called as PMEGP. Have you heard about this scheme? It has become quite popular now, I think. PMEGP, Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. So what is the objective of this scheme? Objective of this scheme is employment generation. Employment generation, that is the primary objective of this scheme. So what happens under this scheme? You are an entrepreneur. When you start a business, you employ people, you are generating employment. So what happens, if you start a business in a rural area, in village, will you employ people from the city? For example, you are establishing a unit in maybe Malla Reddy. In Malla Reddy, then you will not call people from Hyderabad because it will be very expensive. You will not be able to afford it. You will hire people from Malla Reddy. If you don't find skilled people over there, you will train them and then you will employ them. So you are generating employment in Malla Reddy. What happens in that, Malla Reddy people will not come to Hyderabad looking for job because they got job over there. So that is the objective of this scheme. And that is why, if you see this box is there, you see categories of beneficiary, the beneficiary contribution and the rate of subsidy. So subsidy is an incentive which government gives you for doing business. So it's a money which comes to you, you don't have to repay it. Beneficiary's contribution of project cost means whenever you come up with a business plan, so initially you will require some amount, maybe 5 lakh, 10 lakh something, to start that business. So that is the project cost. And you will apply for funding, mostly to financial institutions, banks. So bank will not fund 100% of the project. They will approximately 70% of the project they will finance. The remaining 30% is your own contribution you have to put from your side in the business. So first your contribution, then bank will finance it. So in this, you see categories of beneficiaries. So general category and special category. Special category is SC, ST, OBC, minorities, women, ex-servicemen, transgenders, differently able, Northeast and so on. Other things, So beneficiaries contribution for general category is 10%. For example, 10 lakh loan, 1 lakh is the contribution. You have to put 1 lakh in the business, bank will give you 9 lakh. Special category only 5%. So only 50,000. Not 1 lakh. And see, there is another additional subsidy if you are putting in urban area, 15% subsidy for general category, 25% for special category, but in rural area you get additional 10% because you are creating an employment. So this is the scheme and how to apply for this scheme. So there is a simple application. If you search this to Google, what's KVIC space PMEGP. KVIC is Khadi Village Industries Commission. If you Google these two words, you will go to this PMEGP portal hosted on KVIC, which is the nodal agency for implementing this scheme under our Ministry of MSME. You get the online application form. After you click a button called as application for individual. If you are partners, you are applying for it, you have to select an application for non-individual. Then you get a form, online form, and you can see, you go to the website, you click on this, then you get a form. So in that form, you have to fill the details, basic details. You have to upload your project report. There is a template. You have to download it, fill it, and upload it. So it goes. You can select your agency, implementing agency, which could be District Industry Center, KVIC. You all guys know DIC, District Industry Center? Aware? No. Okay. So whenever you are starting a business, every district, state industry department is having a district industry center. So you can get consultancy. What are the clearances for that business you require? You can get to know about that. Plus state industries department schemes are there. That also you will get to know from there. So district industry center, you can select and you can apply forward this PMEGP application. So you get funding. Funding is up to 50 lakhs for manufacturing unit and 20 lakhs for service sectors. So that is PMEGP scheme. So these two schemes are useful. You can apply as a startup under this scheme. So because I have been told, to wind up early, I would like questions from you. If you want to start a business, so regarding that, compliances and funding, IP related, any query is there? Please feel free. Or should I ask you questions? Yes, any questions in your mind? There will be few people, who are among you, few are set, they have this, okay, after completing this, I will go for a job, or I will go for a higher education. But there will be few among you, at least, who have this, I want to do something. I want to start, give a try to my dream, like this gentleman is over here, Sambit, right? Yes. So he has an idea. So anybody maybe in the back benches? Yes, you raised your hand. Should I come to you? Yes. Yes, we have startups from backbenchers. Yes. Any business you want to start? You want to start business or you don't want to do business? No? Okay, how many people want to start business? Raise your hand. Good. You want to start? Have any idea? You don't have any idea. You need to get an idea also. Business. We can give you conventional products also, list of conventional products you can start over there. Obviously, there is always a gap in demand, this market and supply. So, you can start that business and you can have a regular income. But you will not be able to grow beyond a certain point unless you bring innovation in the business. Innovation is required, if you want to grow in the business. And repeated innovation is required, if you want to sustain. So, yes, anybody who want to start business, raise your hands again. Who are interested in starting a business? Okay, you are there, you definitely. You are interested, you are interested, you are also interested. Okay, when you are, okay. I'll come to ladies first, because this is, IPR is focused on women's.
So basically in industries we are seeing like education, food and health industry are quite trending these days. So on that line only I want to go. Yeah. Focusing on health only, sir. Yeah, still I'm just learning that. CSC. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, I have an idea actually. It's basically I'm quite a yogic person. So I just think my idea is like to influence people to like related to yoga.
So business opportunities are there in yoga also.
Yes.
But you have to evaluate what are the problems. Why people don't think yoga is good for everybody. Everything, everybody is popularizing yoga.
Yes, sir.
Celebrate yoga international day. So why people are not doing yoga? What is
because these days people are totally addicted with the medicines and all. Nobody is concentrating on their daily lives. Like they need to take some time and give some time to their physical health also. So on that basis, like if we create any app or some like project, like in that their schedule will be like this. Like they will go on with their daily schedules, but that health purpose also it is. Like that.
Nice. So insights, you got everybody here, what insights, what she is thinking of, So basically intellectual property is very subjective, That is why, to have a law, common law, that everyone will follow is very difficult. It's very subjective. Because see, what you think is very complicated, intricate, what is art, other may not think like that. So now she has identified yoga, there are some issues are there, people are into very hectic schedule, they cannot give time. So she can build an app, so that they can do it along with their work. So this is the problem. So you can have yoga in your smartwatch, yoga timer. You can build a smartwatch. It will tell you, it will show you yoga poses, and then you can do that. So any other in terms of yoga, if somebody wants to do like me, I'm a busy person, I don't get time and other things. So what are the opportunities over here so that you can bring people to use your platform? So identifying that opportunity is the first step to have an innovation. So along the lines of that, anybody can have any, can identify any problems associated with that? Okay, moving on to next idea. You said, right, you want to start a business. Okay. Okay, so I guess, you guys are not interested in starting business, right? Very few people are there. Because I just wanted to interact with you and provide certain consultancy, because the scheme part can come later on. That is when you are sure that you want to start a business, and you have identified your product. That time I can tell you the schemes which are relevant to you. So, yes. So we have come, from our offices, yes. Somebody at the end raised their hand. You have a question or just casually you raised your hand? Yes. Okay. Coming back to you. Yes.
Every student goal is to, సార్ ఎవరికైనా ఇప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్స్కి ఫ్రెండ్స్తో టూర్స్కి వెళ్ళాలని ఉంటుంది. అంటే మా ఏజ్లో ఉన్న వరకైతే వాళ్ళకి ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మనీ ప్యాకేజ్ అంటే పాకెట్ మనీతోనే వెళ్ళాలి. డాడీ వాళ్ళకి ఒక 5 బిలియన్ ఉంటుంది రోజు, అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ మళ్ళీ స్లైస్ అవన్నీ తీసుకోవాలి. సార్ ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ స్లైస్ కార్డ్ యూ షుడ్ డెబిట్. అకౌంటేషన్ మ్యాండేటరీ సార్ అక్కడ. అంటే కొంచెం హాస్టల్స్ అన్ని బాయ్స్ హాస్టల్స్ కానీ బ్రాండ్ ఏదన్నా బ్రాండ్ ఉండదు. లైక్ స్టాంజా ఇస్ అ బ్రాండ్ వేర్ ద ఫెసిలిటీ.
There is a problem around which a business can
answer. I can answer. There are many youth hostels in all around the India. Youth hostels are there. They provide you free accommodation, but you have to pay for the food. So you can use that. Youth hostels are there. I have stayed in so many youth hostels throughout the India.
Sir, you remember any brand is there around those kind of hostel?
No, sir. It is only youth hostel run by government. That's it.
Okay. Okay, so it's not a business model. Then it's funded by government, but you can have a business model around it. If you have identified, see, that is the identification of problem. See, it is based on your experience, what you have experienced, and there will be so many others. You are not alone. There will be so many others who are facing the same problem. So you can use Swiggy and Zomato. What is this? It is not rocket science. But they identified the problem, and now all of you have become users of Swiggy. So you can have that idea as well, and you can be a unicorn. But idea you can have, but the passion is required to fuel that idea and convert it into a successful product. So I was just when reading the story of Swiggy, over here when Madam mentioned about Swiggy. So how they, had to repetitively, change their idea after trials in the market. So you read these stories, then you will come to know. So at a later stage, probably who was interested, we'll organize a more focused session on entrepreneurship and innovation. Well, thank you very much, for participating in this program. And also I thank Malla Reddy Engineering College and all the faculty who have supported. Srimati Shravanti Vedula is there from ICRISAT. So so far she is always coming, whenever we invite her. And they also have an IPFC center where you can get IP consultancy. IP consultancy I think is free of cost, is it? Okay, consultancy is free of cost. We have MSME Development and Facilitation Office. Over there also we provide business consultancy and also IP consultancy. So that is also free of cost. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So you would like to have a group photo? Just for a second. For a second, if you can gather over here fast, we'll just have a click of the group photo.
Leave your bags.